Monday Night Football, the Broncos beat the Browns 41-32. Jaquan McMillan returned an interception 44 yards for a game-sealing touchdown with 1:48 left. Denver spoiled a career-best performance by Jameis Winston. He threw for a franchise record 497 yards and 4 touchdowns. They also got picked off 3 times, 2 of which were returned by the Broncos for touchdowns. On the other side, Bo Nix, 18 of 35 passing, 294 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. Cleveland drops to 3-9-0 with the loss, while the Broncos improved to 8-5-0. They're now riding a 3-game winning streak. Now Denver gets to rest up. They've got a bye and will host Indianapolis on December the 15th, while the Browns head to Pittsburgh on Sunday.
Bundle auto and home, renters or condo, and save with Progressive. That's the SportsGrid Sports Flash. I'm Chuck Sanders.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest. The last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying. Just beautiful.
Whatever you love, find it on eBay. eBay. Things people love.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues?
Who are you?
Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Winning is no accident.
You've got to be smart about it.
It takes a plan. All centered around expert analysis and trusted information.
That's what you get.
Right here. The Winning Edge. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
The only place in football where the offense is always on the field is on Moneyline. With the 2 best hosts in radio, Donnie Rightside.
If anybody wasn't watching, let's not know what you were doing.
And Kevin Walsh.
Forget act like you've been there before.
On the SportsGrid Radio Network, SiriusXM Channel 159.
Let's make it happen. What do you say? We're with you here on Moneyline on a Tuesday, December 3rd. I'm Kevin Walsh, solo style. Hopefully we're with you as well, though, so feel free to jump over on the YouTube side of things as we still figure out the phone line situation. We missed some of you. We'll figure it out in time. We will. But that YouTube chat box, as always, is open for the SportsGrid On Demand people. So head over there and let me know what action do we have here on this Tuesday. It's a hoops day, no doubt. NBA Cup, loaded with scenarios. As I've said with the NBA Cup, if you're like, man, I wish these guys cared more in the regular season, here you go. Playoff-esque atmospheres tonight between Orlando and New York, between Milwaukee and Detroit, and a few other key spots really out there on the slate. So we will get into those a little bit here today. Awesome college hoop slate as we begin some of the power conference head-to-heads. The SEC ACC Challenge will be getting underway, as well as the Big 12 Big East battle. It is incredible that on today's slate, because I'm sure some of you, you will pull up just as ESPN, and they organize, the initial selection that you can make is for top 25 matchups. And I am sure for plenty of you out there, when you select, top 25 matchups, you assume that you're going to be getting, the very, very top of the crop involving UConn and Baylor. And UConn hardly ranked. That game, though, tomorrow. But they are down to 25th. Like, you almost didn't have UConn in your top 25 slate. That is the college hoops side of it. I'm sure we'll mix in some NFL as well, but I'd love to talk college with you here today, college football, that is, for a little while. Tonight, we get the latest college football playoff rankings. And, of course, my co-host here on the show, Moneyline DRS, Donnie Rightside, will let you know that nothing matters other than the final rankings. I imagine Donnie would make an amendment that say nothing matters other than the final 2 rankings. Because now, with a 12-team playoff, you will see teams dropped in, and they will be locked into the playoff. Now, teams will not be locked into their seeding. Things will move. Things will change. Things will shift. But we will know, even at minimum, who has a chance, who does not, who has been jobbed, who has been given the benefit of the doubt tonight. The big thing and then the next week we'll get the conference championship results, but I cannot fathom a world where today's rankings or tonight's rankings has Miami in front of Alabama, and then next week, with neither team in action, they find a way to flip that, right? When you take a look at the college football playoff landscape, I've had a lot of fun on my own doing my rankings. Of course, we do Ben's Top 10 on our College Football Today show, and it's always a really fun segment. Ben puts a lot of work into, sorting his rankings. At times, I feel that the thought that, that we put in is not met by, certainly at least like your AP voter. Not all of them, at least, right? And I look at kind of this landscape here, and I'm not really sure the exercise of what I would do is even worth it at this moment. Because the landscape, right? Like, again, we can get into seeding, no doubt, right? But when we're trying to figure out what's on the line, I look now, and it's a battle between 3 teams who are hoping they have a chance to make the playoff. Those 3 teams being Alabama, South Carolina, and Miami. What is interesting, and I'll just use FanDuel, national championship odds. Miami, the U, 250 to 1. South Carolina, 80 to 1. Alabama, 15 to 1. In front of a team like Tennessee, who was 18 to 1, who, by the way, did beat Alabama and is one of those clear-cut, locked into the field teams. Forget the fact that Indiana's 40 to 1, and they are also absolutely locked into the field. IU is. They won by 66 nothing in that game against Purdue. I know how bad Purdue is. I know Indiana ran it up. I know. But they're not getting jumped winning by that much. It's not happening. So I'm trying to figure out those odds. And do they tell us Bama's in? Stop thinking about it. Bama's in. And there's no way that Bama doesn't get kept into this field. Or is this a product of, well, Bama's dangerous, and if Bama gets in, we are not going to give you 40 to 1, 60 to 1, and when the Bama in the field price looks much different. Because when we did have the 4-team format, you could find some great odds in the national title market throughout the season. If a team lost a game, you felt they could run the table, because now you were betting on making the field and winning the title. If you look, Ohio State, despite losing to Michigan, didn't drop too far back because we know Ohio State's still going to be in the field. We know that. It does not look like the price on Alabama at all factors in making the field. That's not something I fully understand right now. I don't. I cannot make much sense of that. If the AP poll, the most recent, and this won't be the case, but let's just say it is. If the most recent AP poll ends up a mirror image of the college football playoff rankings, Bama would be in. They would be. They'd be the 11 seed. They would hilariously, let me do the math, see if that's right. Boom, boom. I think they may end up like going to Tennessee. I'll double check that. Here's the thing, though. There's a very simple scenario that if even tonight Bama beats out Miami and South Carolina, does not give them a clear pathway to get in. This is not a done deal tonight for the Bama, Miami, South Carolina crew. I'll explain. We're with you. We're hanging out. It's Moneyline, Sirius XM, channel 159.
Sports happens every day. Trust us.
It does.
And we give you the winning edge every day.
You see where we're going with this?
This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
Travelers heading home after the Thanksgiving holiday set a record on Sunday as airport officers screened more than 3 million people. This update brought to you by Verizon. The TSA said Monday that it handled 3.09 million travelers, breaking the previous record by about 74,000. That mark was set July 7th, also a Sunday after a holiday. Hundreds of thousands of travelers were delayed or had their flights canceled. Airlines canceled about 120 U.S. flights, and more than 6,800 flights were delayed, according to FlightAware. Investigations are underway as U.S. health officials investigate a multi-state outbreak of salmonella infections linked to New Mexican-grown cucumbers. As of November 26, the FDA has reported that 68 people across 19 states have been infected with salmonella. 18 hospitalizations have been confirmed nationwide, but no deaths have been reported. Illness typically occurs within 12 to 72 hours after the ingestion of contaminated food. I'm Trey Westerberg with the SportsGrid News Flash.
Let's face it, winter can be a hard season. It's cold pretty much all the time. Blizzard. You have to shovel. Another blizzard. You slip on ice. But you know what makes winter suck a little less? Getting a free phone. Join Cricket Nation and get a free Samsung Galaxy A15 5G. Ooh, ouch. Welcome to enjoying more. Welcome to Cricket Nation. Smile, you're on Cricket.
Cricket 5G is not available everywhere. Must open a new line on the $60 unlimited plan. First month service charge and tax due at sale. Fees, terms, and other restrictions apply. See cricketwireless.com for details.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds, which could be life-changing. I mean, you could put that money towards concert tickets for your daughter to see that singer who sings about painful breakups. And one song will inspire your little beauty to break up with that beast she's dating, Brian. Instead, she'll date someone who's nice and worthy of her love, not someone who addresses you and your spouse as bro. And it's all because you could save money switching at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states.
Let's make something crystal clear. The winning edge has nothing to do with increasing good luck. Luck has nothing to do with it. It's sports gaming strategies and information. You want luck? Flip a coin. You want to win?
Flip it here.
This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
Hurry back, I am yours.
Let's get in here, folks. We're with you on Moneyline. We're making it happen on a Tuesday. Little action, Bronson, 924.11. I'm going to have to spin that later. We'll figure that out. 924.11, 924.13. There might be a 15 or 17, but didn't hit the same. 924.11, 924.13. So we're talking about the college football playoffs just because we got a lot of space here on Moneyline, and I want to just talk through this. So I kind of probably double talked myself a little bit in that segment, in that today's the final day for the Bama, Miami, Carolina, right? Indiana, Ohio States of the world. And then I said, well, Bama's in today. It doesn't mean they're in. That's true. So here's what I mean. Today there is a race between three teams to have the belief that they are available for one of the final at-large spots. It will either be Alabama, Miami, or South Carolina. Only one of those teams. I do not believe there is room for two of those teams. So today, or tonight, one of those teams will be given hope they can get in. Hope. But it will not be a guarantee. Let's talk about your locks. Teams that are in the playoff. Let's see who disagrees. From the Big Ten, Oregon, Penn State, Ohio State, Indiana. There's no world where I think any of you out there could see those teams being eliminated from the field. And I'll pull up the most recent college football rankings just to give you an idea of where they were. I mean, Oregon's unbeaten. We know that. Penn State's playing in that Big Ten title game. If they lose, they're fine. Of course, same story for Oregon. Ohio State, it's a bad loss, right, to Michigan, but they're not going to plummet. Texas won, and they were probably fine with a loss anyway, but Texas wins. If they lose to Georgia again, it's okay, right? Dogs are in. Now, that was tricky. Friday night, the 8 overtime game that they played against Tech, because Georgia was locked into the SEC title game. Now, I don't know how the committee would have handled that. In that, let's say Georgia was not locked into that title game. Would the Dogs have survived a loss to Tech and been given one of the outright spots? Or would they have been left out where it's like, oh, thank goodness we have the chance in the SEC title game? Because then we all of a sudden had the moment where Georgia loses to Georgia Tech. Well, now I have to play in the SEC title game. Thanks. If I lose this, it's my fourth. I'm done. Dogs win the game. The Bulldogs are in. The Bulldogs are in. Notre Dame, in. 100%. No questions about it. I am very surprised, and I was very wrong as I sit here with this on Most Unbiased Man History of Sports Media. It's not a joke. It's not a joke. It's not. I cannot believe, one, that Notre Dame ran the table. I can't. It's very, very, very surprising that Notre Dame ran the table after the NIU loss. It is surprising the fashion at which they ran the table. And I said on our show last Saturday, the most surprising thing is that Notre Dame didn't even need to beat USC to make the playoff. I don't think they did. I do not believe Notre Dame needed to win that game. They couldn't have been destroyed, right? But it didn't matter. They ended up getting pick six after pick six, and they ended up winning that football game. Tennessee's locked in. They beat Vanderbilt. They have 2 losses. The committee's not going to move them. I actually will listen if you're like, whoa, Vols beat Bama, didn't do much else. But I don't want to waste time with that, right? So in the playoff, Oregon, Penn State, Indiana, Georgia, Texas, Tennessee, Notre Dame, Ohio State, that's your field, okay? They're all locked in. We know that for sure. UNLV Boise winner, locked into the playoff. Arizona State, Iowa State winner, locked into the playoff. SMU, Clemson winner, locked into the playoffs. Here is the big question. And I don't know if they will ask this question to the committee chair who comes on tonight on their big reveal show. I hope they do. I actually think they will ask. I just don't know if the answer will be helpful. What happens if SMU loses to Clemson? It is the only conference championship game where we have questions about the loser. Oregon, Penn State, either team is in. Georgia, Texas, they are both in. Boise, UNLV, the loser is done. That, of course, includes Boise State. Boise cannot get in with a loss, obviously. Arizona State, Iowa State. You know the loser is done. If Clemson loses, of course, they are out. Of course. Been a bad year for Dabo. Really has been. Yet still ended up in the ACC title game. Goes to show the strangle he's got on that conference. I know things broke right, but I don't know. You kind of just tip your cap. What happens if SMU loses? That is the big question to me. And I don't know the answer. I don't know the answer. I wonder for SMU, because again, so if SMU beats Clemson, right, then one of Bama, Carolina, Miami will get that spot, right? SMU loses, Clemson takes the spot. If you're SMU, who do you want the challenger to be? Do you want it to be Alabama football? 3-loss Alabama? Do you want it to be the red hot but 3-loss South Carolina? Do you want it to be from the same conference? 2-loss Miami? I don't know. But that is going to be one of the biggest questions heading in to the championship weekend is could SMU survive that loss? We're going to take a quick break. Be right back with you. Talk some college hoops on Moneyline.
We dispense little pearls of wisdom, just like dear old dad when he secretly let you taste his beer when you were 8 years old. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network. The SportsGrid Radio Network presents This Date in Sports History.
Bob Gibson, who set a new National League record for earned run average this year.
1968, Major League Baseball adopts a series of changes designed to increase offensive run production. The strike zone was decreased and the pitcher's mound was lowered from 15 to 10 inches. Batting averages increased from 237 to 248, while pitchers' ERA jumped from 2.98 to 3.61. For SportsGrid Radio, I'm Mike DeMurgis.
The Technology Minute with George Capalbo.
Technical University of Munich researchers have developed a pair of robotic hands, sort of like an electric motor bicycle, instead making you walk or run faster. Two artificial tendons connect your thigh to your waist. Adaptive software senses your stride, affecting 18% less load on your body, like you're 20 pounds lighter. Future robotic trousers are planned to help you climb mountains. However, not recommended to use underwater. Follow me at Chica Palvo on X and stay tuned to The Technology Minute for more cool stuff like this.
Moneyline.
I just want to focus on the shell of the San Francisco 49ers, what we're seeing now. They got hammered in that game, and I know it's upsetting that Christian McCaffrey went down with the injury. I make no money on that game last night because of Kyle Shanahan. That's back-to-back weeks in step-up spots for the Niners. They got absolutely thumped. And look like, Kevin, they didn't want to be there last night.
Catch Moneyline with Donnie Rightside and Kevin Walsh. Weekdays, 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 Pacific on the SportsGrid Radio Network.
Don't be that guy.
You know the kind.
They're superstitious, carry good luck charms, and have extravagant rituals to win. There's an easier way.
Listen to us. It means carrying 4-leaf clovers everywhere.
Get the winning edge. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
All right, we're hanging out on Moneyline on a Tuesday. Kevin Walsh with you. We're just talking a little about that college football landscape tonight. We're going to have our guy Ben Stevens join us on Game Time Decisions, and we'll kind of give you a CFT style react and read, and Ben and I see some things the same, some things differently, right? So we'll see what the committee does with some stuff, man. I don't know if they can do anything that's going to leave my jaw on the floor. If they do, it would be wild. I don't really know. I don't know if that exists out there. I don't know. I will tell you this. I was messing around with like projected seating as somebody holding some Georgia tickets, and that's going to be my big rooting interest. It seems like Georgia is either going to be like projected to play Texas in the second round in a 2-7, or play Ohio State in the second round as the 2 and Ohio State the 7. Like, the format is not perfect. We'll see what it looks like tonight. I'll just throw this out here to people quick. But one of the big questions is, if Oregon beats Penn State, will Penn State go behind Ohio State in the final rankings? Like, that'll move some things around. Like, they should, but I don't necessarily know what the committee has in store. But I will say this: if you're rooting for Georgia, if you have Georgia tickets, you root them to beat Texas. Just take the bye and don't overcomplicate it. Like, it's not, because I think Georgia would could, I mean, not a guarantee, but they could end up on the road. And then you're playing at a, rest disadvantage the next week. So you don't want that. You hope you win the SEC title game. There's cushion, but, you want an easier path. Like, it wouldn't surprise me, for as long as this format exists, either the 1 or the 2 seed win. Like, maybe like the 5 seed would be the exception. If the 5 seed ends up being as easy as it somewhat projects, playing the Big 12, playing the G5, it's like, all right, well, we play 2 games, but we've 14-point favorites across the board in all the games. Because we know in the NFL for so long, like, the bye weeks, the teams that had the bye were massively benefited. Now, it's also because they were the best teams, right? This year, if it's Oregon and Georgia, like, yeah, well, all right, those are the best teams, right? If it's Oregon or Texas, that's what people will say. If it's Penn State, they're the best team. No, you know that. I'm excited to break down the Big Ten title game. We'll see if I have the ability to do what's necessary, and I don't know if I do. I really don't. Let's talk college hoops here. So, look, there's some really interesting spots out there. The beauty of these challenges is you get real home court advantage. Like, the Maui stuff's fun. I'm not knocking it. I'm not Dan Hurley. Ugly scene for Danny boy, by the way, man. Real tough few days for him. Didn't handle it well. I know they've not done a lot of losing the past few years, but he comes in with what projects to be his worst team in the 3 years, and they have that type of result out in Maui, and it's it seemed like more complaining than anything else out of Danny boy. That's what it seemed like, but he'll be happy because now they're getting to play at home on Wednesday. We'll do the Wednesday slate as well. Villanova against Cincinnati. Tennessee hosts Syracuse, laying a huge number. The Vols, man, the Vols are a tough team for me to buy into, I feel like, on a regular basis. And then I ended up doing it last year when the bracket dropped, because I felt that Dalton Connect was kind of that separator piece. They just ran into Purdue, and there was nothing that could really happen. But Tennessee now is actually sitting there, and like the number 1 team in the net, smashed Baylor, smashed UVA, smashed Louisville, projected to smash Syracuse tonight. We'll talk a little more college hoops. We're making it happen. We're live on Moneyline.
Attitude is everything.
Don't say I lost today.
Say, I gain powerful insight into why I need to pay attention to SportsGrid. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
Progressive presents the SportsGrid Sports Flash. I'm Chuck Sanders. Monday Night Football, the Broncos beat the Browns 41-32. Jaquan McMillan returned an interception 44 yards for a game-sealing touchdown with 1:48 left. Denver spoiled a career-best performance by Jameis Winston. He threw for a franchise record 497 yards and 4 touchdowns. He also got picked off 3 times, 2 of which were returned by the Broncos for touchdowns. On the other side, Bo Nix, 18 of 35, passing 294 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. Cleveland drops to 3-9-0 with the loss, while the Broncos improve to 8-5-0. They're now riding a 3-game winning streak. Now Denver gets to rest up. They've got a bye and will host Indianapolis on December the 15th, while the Browns head to Pittsburgh on Sunday. Bundle auto and home, renters or condo, and save with Progressive. That's the SportsGrid Sports Flash. I'm Chuck Sanders.
Hard to believe that Christmas is only a couple of weeks away, right? But there's still plenty of time to find incredible gift deals because Macy's Friends and Family Sale is happening now. What does that mean? It means when you use your coupon or Macy's card, you can take an extra 30% off, just like Friends and Family can. That's 30% off the best holiday gifts, 30% off the best designer brands, 30% off what's trending right now. It's just this week. It's just what you were looking for, and it's only at Macy's. Savings off regular and already reduced prices. Exclusions apply.
This holiday season, Straight Talk Wireless is letting you say yes a lot more with real unlimited data. Yes to sharing pics of the ugliest holiday sweaters. Yes to checking weather on the go for surprise sledding trips. And with a free phone at sign up, let the yes-tivities begin.
No way!
Yes way. Straight Talk, real unlimited data. Available at Walmart or straighttalk.com. Offer valid through 1/5/25 while supplies last at participating stores. Taxes and fees apply. Requires in-store activation on select single line plans. Limit of 2 phones per customer. For network management practices, visit straighttalk.com.
What's the big deal about a rabbit's foot?
I mean, how is that lucky?
Ever seen a bunny amputee on crutches? It's upsetting and scares little kids. Don't rely on luck.
Get the winning edge.
This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
All right, we're back right here on Moneyline. Kevin Walsh, SportsGrid Radio. Sirius XM channel 159. Trying to get the dogs to come in during the break. I thought I was going to be late. I was not. We're back. 1 dog in, 1 dog out. That's how it goes. We're talking about that college basketball board. Now, you'll see tonight where home court advantage is, being factored in. The home court spot of the night is unranked Louisville, laying points to ranked Ole Miss, which I know for a lot of people is kind of the sound the alarm spot, right? The Louisville Cardinals, though, being ranked, like sometimes for people who are not as into it, right? They go, oh, what are the books? No, ranked team catching points. Got to be a trap. Give me Louis. It's not a trap. Okay, it's not a trap. On KenPom, which is widely known, if by chance you don't, it ranks every single college basketball team 1 all the way down to 64. Okay? You do not have to treat it like gospel, but it gives you an idea. Louisville is ranked ahead of Mississippi. Not by a lot. It's a net rating, okay? It is not by a lot, but they are ranked in front of Mississippi. Ole Miss. Add in a little home court bump. Yeah, 3.5 makes sense. Just using that. And pretty frequently, the KenPom number and the actual number, they are within reason. So it's not too surprising. A&M's going to lay 7.5 to Wake Forest. OU's going to lay 12 and a hook to Georgia Tech. We do have a conference game today, which is bizarre. 8-0 Wisconsin is going to play a 6-1 Michigan team. Wisconsin laying 3.5. See, this is where you can kind of go the other way. It's like, whoa, 11th ranked Wisco laying, hold on, just 3.5 points. Why would that be? How could that be? Right? Again, just to, give you an idea, Wisconsin right now, 29th on the good old Ken Palm. Michigan, 22nd. So there's reasons is all I'm saying. Right? Now, you can see these things and it can send off an alert. 11, like if you're not as into it, right? Like if the 11 team only laying 3.5, well, then you see, right? Home court's mattering on a number like that. You also have Clemson, Kentucky tonight. Kentucky, a 1.5 point road favorite. Kentucky has climbed all the way up to 12th in the Ken Palm rankings. Kentucky preseason outside of the top 40. Something I've talked about, something that I was offended by. As I knew too much about this Kentucky team to know that was not an accurate rating and proved true immediately. Well, they go to Clemson, though, for now, what is likely their toughest test, because in college basketball, home court matters so much. And you now go to Clemson, who so far they've not lost a home game. Now, they haven't played anybody at home. Their one loss was at Boise State. Penn State and the Dons, when they played those games, they were on neutral sites. But you can tell it's all in the number. You can tell what home court is doing. Now, the Wednesday slate for college basketball is where things get absolutely beautiful. Sadly, we don't have the numbers out yet, though. UConn, Baylor, North Carolina, Bama, Iowa State, Marquette, Creighton, Kansas, Duke, Auburn. I cannot wait to see that Duke Auburn number. I'm thinking it's like Auburn -1.5, 1. It's my thought. I think people are going to look to bet Auburn. Maybe it's Duke -1 because of home court. I just think that people are going to be ready to fire away on the Auburn Tigers. I play the Duke National Championship market, though, so for me, I need to see Duke win that game. That's very, very important. When you bet the favorite, which is what I did, you need them to act like it, right? You need them to put the appropriate results up on the board. And I have no problem with anything I've seen from Duke so far. What they did at Arizona, I think, is incredibly impressive. Hung with Kentucky and Kansas the whole way. The late game stuff is not good. And I look at Shire more than Flag. The optimistic lens on that for both parties, though, is we are going to just keep giving Flag reps in those moments. That way, come March, he's beyond comfortable in them. Because we can afford to lose to Kentucky and Kansas right now. And by the time we can't afford to lose to them, Coop will be at his best. So from that end of it, I get it, right? I do. If that's what's going through John Shire's mind in those moments when he's just kind of giving the ball to Flag and saying, figure it out. As opposed to, running real action, right? Getting Cooper Flag involved as the screener, right? Letting Proctor make a move, even Con Knipple. We've got dogs going wild out there. I don't know if you guys can hear that. But for Duke, now you're home. And you're playing what is the current best team in college basketball. I mean, you could say Kansas, but Auburn is number 1 on Ken Palm and the favorites to win the national championship now. They've overtaken Duke in that market. So if you're the Blue Devils, and the way the game plays out will be relevant, but if you lose that game at home, now we go, all right, this is probably going to be predictable. Veteran, talented though, but veteran type team will be the demise of the Blue Devils come March. Maybe that'll feel like a sweeping statement to some in December. But if Duke does drop that game again, that's going to be the vibe around it. Because that's how all of their losses will have looked. And yes, there will be chances for Duke to try their hand again at a comparable team because they play North Carolina twice. But North Carolina, early returns, not Duke, Kansas, Kentucky level. Tournament's wild. It may not even matter. Right? Like teams have great years and then they don't even make it out of the first game. Auburn last year. Kentucky last year. Not like, right? Like, just happens. Even Kansas, like last year, was so injured by the time they got there. But if tomorrow you go out there and Duke is handled by Auburn, that will be the first time I go, okay, we got some problems here. Let's do some NBA Cup. We're going to take a quick break with you right here, though, on SportsGrid. A lot of scenarios up for grabs out there in the Cups world. We might do some NFL MVP as well.
Luck is throwing a wad of paper into the trash. Strategy is bouncing it off your coworker's head first.
Hey!
Strategy
is more cool.
This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
Progressive presents the SportsGrid Sports Flash. Shop Chuck Sanders. The second to last college football playoff poll will be released tonight. It's a 7 Eastern release time. In this year's college football playoff, 12 teams make the field. The top 4 get first-round byes. AP Top 25 college football this week. Oregon stays put at number 1. Texas up 1 spot to number 2. Penn State jumped a spot to number 3. Notre Dame up 1 spot to number 4. Georgia up a spot to number 5. Tennessee jumped 1 spot to number 6. Ohio State tumbled 5 spots to number 7. SMU up 1 spot to number 8. Indiana jumped a spot to number 9. And Boise State up 1 spot to number 10. AP Top 25 basketball. Kansas remains number 1 this week. Auburn up 2 spots to number 2. The Tennessee Volunteers jumped 3 spots to number 4 this week. Bundle auto and home, renters or condo, and save with Progressive. That's the SportsGrid Sports Flash. I'm Chuck Sanders.
This holiday at T-Mobile, I'm joined by a special co-anchor.
What up, everybody? It's your boy, Big Snoop Deal Double G.
Snoop, let's talk about T-Mobile.
Okay, cool.
This holiday, get 4 lines for $25 a line. Plus, 4 iPhone 16s with Apple Intelligence and the all-new camera control on us.
Let's get cracking, like a breakfast egg.
You can use those eggs to make some eggnog, Snoop.
Respect.
And people do love T-Mobile, where you can save on every plan versus the other big guys when you switch.
You know, y'all can take some of those savings and buy some Snoop merchandise.
Always a great stocking stuffer, Snoop.
We up out of here.
Hold your horses, Snoop D-O-double-G. Let's remind people one more time.
Head to T-Mobile.com and get 4 iPhone 16s with Apple Intelligence on us. Plus 4 lines for $25. Now drop that joke.
With 24 monthly bill credits, 4 eligible trade-ins, and 4 new lines with autopay. Well qualified customers plus taxes and fees and $35 per line connection charge. Cancel entire account before receiving 24 bill credits and credit stop and balance on required finance agreements due. $829.99 credits end if you pay off device early. See how you can save on wireless and streaming versus the other big guys at T-Mobile.com/switch. Apple Intelligence requires iOS 18.1 or later.
Every real player will tell you somewhere
They have an advantage.
it could be either physical, mental, or both. In your case, it's strategies and information you get right here.
The home of the winning edge.
This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
All right, we're live right here on SportsGrid. Let's do, what do we want to do? We want to do a little NFL MVP? We want to do a little NBA Cup. We got the dogs in the house here, man. So maybe we'll do a little NFL MVP. Because if you look right now in the market, it is a race that is certainly favoring Josh Allen, minus 280. Let's pull up one more book while we have this conversation. Okay. FanDuel, though, is going to go minus 280. Let's see what DK went with. I saw the FanDuel numbers yesterday. Minus 225. Saquon 5-1 on FD. Lamar plus 850. Mahomes and Goff are 15-1. Nobody else is being booked in the consideration range. Okay. Now, Josh Allen being the favorite is accurate. Okay. Josh should be the favorite to win this award because we've known it as a quarterback award. Obviously, he's a quarterback, and he plays on a team that is currently being seen as one having an excellent chance to secure the number 1 seed. Because if you look at the most recent list of NFL MVP winners, the formula has been very, very simple. Who's the 1 seed? Who's their quarterback? Yeah, that's our MVP. Last year, Lamar Jackson wins league's MVP. Why? They were the 1 seed. 13-4, best record in football. That's how Lamar won that award. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Then Pat Mahomes won it. Why? Yeah, you guessed it. The 1 seed, 14-3. Mahomes was helped, though, because they weren't the only 14-3 team. What happened? Well, Jalen Hurts injured. Got to stay healthy. Jalen Hurts, though, was the front runner for a while there. Probably would have won it. But the injury messed things up. Okay. 2021, Rodgers, the second. Why? 1 seed. How do you win it the first? 1 seed. This isn't hard, folks. 2019, your league MVP. 14-2, Lamar Jackson, top seed. You guessed it. 2018. How annoying is this? Are you annoyed yet? Mahomes wins it. 1 seed. 2017, New England Patriots, Tom Brady. Oh my goodness, man. 2016, Matt Ryan. There we go. There's your trend breaker. There is your trend breaker. Matt Ryan, they were not the 1 seed. Atlanta was the 2 seed. They also scored 1 billion points that year. Matt Ryan was great. So that, I guess, might be the Josh comp if he can't nail down the 1 seed. Cam Newton that year, 15-1 when they won the MVP. Of course, that's your top slot. But we have now seen 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 consecutive NFL MVP awards handed to the quarterback on the number 1 seed in one of the 2 conferences. At times, it is just who has the best record. So we look right now. Josh Allen is not the 1 seed, but he is on the AFC favorites. That's how bad Kansas City's been playing. The Chiefs have won consecutive Super Bowls, host the AFC title game every single year, are projected to finish with the better record, and they have still popped Buffalo as the favorites. But if Josh does not catch Mahomes, that could mess some things up for him. It could. But they're not likely to give it to Mahomes because he, like Kansas City, has not been good enough. That is just the reality of it. His 19 touchdowns to 11 interceptions. His still not to hit 3,000 yards. His passer rating, that is 17th. It's not right now going to be seen as good enough. His QBR, which is 9th, it's just not. That's all there is to it. Right? Now, maybe Josh doesn't need to be the 1 seed. Maybe he can be the 2 seed. But what about the NFC side of it. Here's where Josh, I think, does potentially run into a little bit of a roadblock. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. So if the Buffalo Bills continue to win out, they will be beating the Detroit Lions. Now, that'd be a huge victory. Detroit has one loss. Detroit would be at home. Detroit would be off a mini bye. It would be an awesome, awesome, awesome victory. It might springboard the Philadelphia Eagles, though, to the 1 seed. I don't know if Philly can run the table. Asking any team to win 13 in a row is quite a lot. But the Eagles are favored to win all of their remaining games. A field goal or better favorite they will be. They're laying 12.5 to Carolina. If you want me to ballpark it, they'll lay 6.5 to Pittsburgh, 3.5 at Washington, 7.5 home to Dallas, 13.5 home to the Giants. Maybe more. Maybe more. So, if all of a sudden you have an award where the 1 seed has been as important as playing quarterback, but a voter pool that's been a little tired of giving it to quarterbacks, I don't think Saquon's the most valuable player in football. I just think it's very, very possible he snags this award from Josh Allen if Josh puts a foot wrong. We'll see. We'll be right back right here on a Tuesday.
SportsGrid is available on the radio, internet, TV, satellite, and our mobile app.
If you're not getting it,
ask the nerdy kid next door. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network. The new SportsGrid app is now available on iOS and the App Store. Experience the ultimate sports betting companion that provides personalized content from your favorite hosts. In-depth matchup previews, game and prop picks, live odds, stats, scores, and more. All in one place. And of course, on the SportsGrid app, you can tune into our live television and radio coverage anytime. On the go, wherever you are. Download the SportsGrid app on the iOS App Store now. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. SportsGrid Radio presents Gridiron Greats.
Linebacker Sam Mills led the Saints' Stone Patrol defense in the 1980s and early 90s. Mills was overlooked initially by the NFL because of his size, but got a second chance in the USFL playing for GM Carl Peterson.
He comes up and hits Herschel Walker, and it's like Herschel hit a fire hydrant and stopped. Do you think Herschel asked Sam how tall he was?
For SportsGrid Radio, I'm Mike DeMurgis.
The sharpest football contest show in the land, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show, focuses on Circus Sports Million, Circus Survivor, and the Westgate Super Contest, handicapping the games and releasing our contest picks every week of the season. With 2 former Super Contest winners, Brady Cannon and James Salinas, a former NFL player, Mike Pritchard, and over $1 million in contest prize money won combined, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show will have you prepared this season like none other.
Moneyline.
It's such a shame the Eagles didn't win that Super Bowl against the Chiefs, because then I could very comfortably call it the greatest coaching staff in NFL history with Sirianni, Steichen, and Gannon. Wow. When you look at some turnarounds that go on. I will say, though, Donnie, Jonathan Gannon apparently doesn't watch Old St. Nick's games.
Catch Moneyline with Donnie Rightside and Kevin Walsh. Weekdays, 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 Pacific. On the SportsGrid Radio Network.
Newsflash, Sporto.
The pandemic is over.
Now you can roam free and do whatever you want. And with the SportsGrid mobile app, we'll be right there with you.
Just take it easy. They'll confiscate your phone in jail.
This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
All right, we're closing it out, Moneyline style. Just talking NFL MVP, that's all. I'll tell you this, as somebody with Eagles futures, I don't know if I want Saquon to win NFL MVP. I believe it goes back to Kurt Warner. Last time someone won MVP and Super Bowl in the same season. So, yeah, you're talking a long time ago. You're talking 1999, I believe. Let me see if that's true. Yep, you're talking 1999, last time that happened. So maybe not. Give it to Josh. Leave us alone. NBA Cup tonight. Great slate. Great slate. Listen, I understand. I accept the NBA for what it is, and I understand why. There she is, a little star. I accept people's frustrations, but tonight is not one of those nights, because tonight you have a lot on the line. You really do. So there's a few games that don't matter in terms of the cup. Hornets, Sixers, Cavs, Wizards, nothing doing there. Raptors, Pacers. Every other game has some element of this matters. Okay, we'll go through it quickly. Pistons, Bucks is straightforward. Okay, the winner takes the group. The winner takes the group and advances, which is incredible to say for the Detroit Pistons if they could finish 4-0 in group play. I mean, the Pacers are having a down year. Last year, they went to the championship game. They've lost every game they've actually played in group play. Miami's had some, a tough run at it, obviously. We've seen that. And the Raptors are bad, but, man, Detroit's done a really nice job here. At home, they've got a legit shot, clearly. Okay? It's the same story for the Knicks and the Magic. Here's the thing. Much bigger game for the Knicks. Much bigger game for the Knicks. The New York Knicks are favored. They're at home. The thing is, Orlando's point differential is plus 60. They would have to be destroyed in order to not be the wild card team with a loss at 3-1. Right? The loser of Bucks Pistons is going to drop points automatically. Right? So let's just say Milwaukee beats Detroit by 1, right? Detroit's point differential then would be plus 27. It would keep them in front of Boston. But plus 27. Orlando would have to lose by, I think, 34 points then. If I did that, off the top of the head quickly and accurately. So Orlando's in a very, very, very good spot. Now, they'd much rather win, not be the wild card team, but it gives you an idea, okay, of where that all sits right now between those teams and what is up for grabs. The Knicks, if they lose, are done because their point differential at best is plus 14, and Boston right now is plus 23. Before we get into anything else that could possibly play out, Boston is absolutely finished if they lose. Or, the Knicks are finished if they lose. That's the Eastern Conference side of it. West is a lot more complicated. Okay? Now, some simple things. The Mavericks are the Western Conference version of Orlando, and that their point differential has set them up incredibly well. And with a win tonight, they're going to go through. They're going to be sat there at 3-1 with a point differential in the 40s. It would be pretty surprising if that's not good enough. Maybe maybe Phoenix could beat San Antonio by 40. Maybe. But, the likelihood of that, it's going to be tough. Plus, if Dallas wins, they might win by margin, right? But it's not an easy game, right? Memphis right now playing well. Memphis has Ja Morant back. It's only a 3.5-point number. I don't fully have the cleanest handle on it. Somehow, some way, the Clippers are eligible to get in if there are a billion losses elsewhere. But that means the Clippers will be trying tonight, right? At minimum. Rockets, Kings, and Warriors, Nuggets is similar in that those teams are locked in. Houston won their group. Golden State won their group, but it's seeding. That's up for grabs between those teams. Houston, a slight home dog in Sacramento. Golden State, a decent-sized dog, actually, in their game against Denver. If they both lose their games, right now, Houston's point differential, plus 49. Plus 49. If San Antonio does upset Phoenix, they win the group. If not, OKC has to hold serve as a near 14-point favorite against the Jazz to take down that group, which we are rooting for. and we will talk about. I'll see you on Game Time Decisions tonight, DRS, as he handled tomorrow on Moneyline.
Sure, you love the wife and kids,
But only we understand you.
we're your buddy.
Get the winning